As a developer, looking at all these things, you can imagine, you know, we haven't finished what we're doing, you know, in this, just looking at this acquisition side of it yet. But can you imagine every site that you look at and you find and you think is okay, and you talk to the owner and they're thinking it's okay, you've got to spend money on all this stuff. So in property development, you're actually spending a lot of money on sites that you might find something in this, in doing your due diligence, that you go, oh my God, I'm not going to proceed with this because of that. And you might have burnt 10 grand, you might have burnt 20 or even 50 if you've sort of done environmental. You might have done all this work and then do an environmental, you know, investigation, and bang, 50 grand gone because, hey, there's some issues with that site. But if you proceeded, it would have cost you a hell of a lot more than 50 grand. It might have cost you a couple of $1 million. So we're always spending money on due diligence on sites, and we might look at 10 sites before we acquire one. So we might, let's say we spend 20 grand per site, 9 sites, $180,000 before we spend our 20, we're now at $200,000 and we've acquired a site. So when we talk about developers having big margins, you know, on their development projects, that's an overhead that's got to be paid for somehow. So in that big margin, we've got the risk margin that I mentioned before. We've got overheads of finding sites, of running an office, etc., paying your staff, etc. What's left over is the profit margin. So don't think that when we get into the feasibilities here, we're going to be talking about some pretty big percentages. That's not what a developer makes. It's the provision for overheads, risk margin, because they don't know what's going to happen over the next 2 years, and for actual profit. So